I think critical audit matters is a huge development, right? And it's something that audit committees need to be very mindful of, to be very educated on. I know where I'm chairing the audit committee and audit committees I'm on, trying to get the conversation into the room in order to be able to understand, so what is it, how is it evaluated, what's the process, what's the timeline, what are the discussions that are happening out there amongst the industry, because I think this is an important part of how the critical audit matters will actually be viewed, is whether there's consistency and understanding, companies have differences, and so there'll be differences in the CAM.
I think it will help to better communicate more about the audit process, which we know the world doesn't completely understand, and I think it's a way to better inform investors about that.
So I think we're going to see auditors first look at what's already important. We deal with them in our audit committees. As I said, we do a deep dive.
It sounds like it's more realistic. And again, the most important thing I think for audit committees is that they have a dry run to make sure there are no surprises in either the process or the expected outcomes.
We're doing a lot of preparation and actually have dry runs going on right now that'll be presented in this upcoming quarterly board season for us to begin to process what might be included, because I think there's a lot of variation by company. For a lot of reasons. What are your systems? How geographically diverse are you, et cetera. So it'll affect some of that to a high degree. So I really hope that they really are tailored individually to companies.
Yeah, I think the conversation on dry runs has been very interesting, because there's not a level amount of understanding in the boardroom, in the audit committees, about what this really is, what it really means. Also, when you talk to management about it, some are they understand exactly how they're going to engage in this process of discussion, and others really don't know what it means to their engagement with the external auditors. So I think, again, it's, as a committee chair, making sure that you understand that conversation, that you go to the points of discussion that perhaps were troubling or not understood, as you have your meetings. And it's hard for audit committees, right? Because you have a lot of fiduciary things that you have to address. We have lease standard, we have rev rec, and how that's being viewed. But this is one that I have on my agendas on an ongoing basis, so we can actually work through it in a measured way.
But here's something we're doing I'm thinking about doing where I chair the audit committee that I think might be interesting for companies to consider. I'm having my management teams do a grid. And on one side of the axis, we're putting the degree of complexity, subjectivity, etc. in the accounting judgment area. And on the other side of the grid, I'm having them put the magnitude, significance, materiality of the item. And at each audit committee meeting, take one or two of those items and let's drill down as an audit committee and better understand the judgments. I think that makes us all better at doing the oversight we need to do as board members.
In terms of the impact on investors, again, originally I was concerned that this would cause more confusion than clarification. But as things have rolled out and we see that these are likely to be issues that the audit committee already know about, and there will be, as I said, a handful, if that. I think there's less of a concern that there will be investor confusion.
If a company had an acquisition where they had an allocation of that acquisition purchase price between what will remain on the books and what goes into goodwill, dig down deep and understand how that allocation might be made. And so that is the additional disclosure I think that investors feel would be helpful to them as they try to understand and peel back so that they can make good investment decisions.
I think what we're going to see is some tangle on language. So I would encourage your general counsel to meet with your audit folks to make sure that you're on the same page of what the words mean.